Hello and welcome to the first ever edition of the Tabloid Filter, courtesy of the Media Filter. I'll be sitting here every week sifting through my pick of the weekend's tabloids, which bring you all the stories that the broadsheet newspapers don't have the balls, or more likely lack of dignity, to be able to inform you of. So, for our first ever newspaper, why not start with the mother of all steaming bollocks, the mother of all tabloid newspapers, The Sun. Yes, give new rights to terrorists, The Sun implores us on the front page. Wait, what? Ah, it's in quotation marks. Phew. Nonetheless, this is the story that, according to some, the amount of time the UK is allowed to detain terrorists is set to be cut. More on that later though, as we have far bigger news to impart on page 28 of today's edition of said tabloid. Yes, Subo has had her say after what seems like aeons about the Ricky Gervais tweet. Forgotten it? So had I. Nonetheless, here is Subo. I can take whatever Ricky says. He's the one with the problem, not me. Fighting talk there from Subo. Nonetheless, it seems strange to this particular idiot that The Sun seems to have populated the story with strange sort of yellow bubbles indicating Susan Boyle's total album sales, as if that makes her a better human being than Ricky Gervais. I think Gervais's Mong tweets just about settle that debate as it is. We'll come back to that delightful terrorist story later, but we'll move on now to the Daily Star. We open today's cover of the Daily Star, and we see boobs. Naturally, in order for the Media Filter to maintain its family-friendly image, I'm just not allowed to show them to you. So what's going to happen instead is I'll just stare at them for long enough. Yep, they're in the bank. Moving on to more left-wing climbs in the Daily Mirror, we see that fortunately, despite the raging violence in Syria and the allegations of corruption at the Russian general elections, the UK tabloids haven't lost their sense of perspective. Yes, it's the news we all wanted to hear. Pauline Quirk. I was 20 stone. 20 stone, readers. Look at her. Look at how fat she used to look in this digitally enhanced image of what may in fact be a different woman entirely. Nonetheless, I was as big as a sumo wrestler. I had to change, but losing weight was terrifying. Well, let me tell you something, Pauline Quirk. You didn't look 20 stone, you looked 20 mountains. Unfortunately, due to my overindulgence in the Susan Boyle story back there, we seem to be running out of time on today's edition of the Tabloid Filter. So, if you'll just give me one moment, I'll be able to prepare to show you our final tabloid of today's edition. That's right, folks, it's the Daily Mail, which I'm scared to touch, lest I become a racist. However, whoa! 850 sex offenders have gone on the run, screams today's edition of the Mail. I'll tell you something, I think they've all ended up at my local nightclub. Nonetheless, it seems again to this idiot that perhaps 850 sex addicts out of a population of coming up to 70 million isn't particularly crisis-worthy. Nonetheless, the Mail have managed to slither on for another page at least concerning the story, ensuring that their readership is once again afraid to walk the streets for fear of rape by just about anyone. Moving on to, yes, the story we began today's edition with, this terrorist debacle. Well, it seems according to the fine investigative journalism in the Mail, it's not just terrorists that will benefit from this new law. The gypsies too. Not those bloody gypsies. I remember the days when one could just walk into the local trailer park and shoot anything that moved before moving back to the cottage for some lovely tea and biscuits. We need to get those liberal types out of government. Then we'll be back to those idealistic days. Yes, we've run out of time on today's edition of the Tabloid Filter, so I hope you'll join me next Monday. Until then, it's goodbye for now.